Okay, and we are live on YouTube. Connie, let me know if you're not ready. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to case number 9658, which is captioned in the matter of the application of Baltimore Gas and Electric Company for a certificate of public convenience and necessity for the Five Forks to Windy Edge transmission line reliability project. Again, it is case number 9658. On January 15th of 2021, Baltimore Gas and Electric filed an application for certificate of public convenience and necessity for authority to construct the Five Forks to Windy Edge transmission line reliability project, which consists of replacing the existing double circuit 115 kilovolt overhead transmission line and its associated lattice structures with a new line mounted on weathering steel poles. This approximately 20-mile long segment located in the northeastern section of BGE's Maryland Electric Distribution Service territory runs from BGE's Five Forks substation located in northern Harford County, Maryland, to the vicinity of BGE's Windy Edge substation located in northern Baltimore County, Maryland. My name is Kristen Lawrence, and I'm the public utility law judge assigned to hear this case. This is a pre-hearing conference. We'll start with appearances, starting with the company, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. On behalf of the applicant, Daniel Herson, I also have with me today and I'd like to enter the appearance of my co-counsel, Jessica Raba. And we also have in attendance at today's hearing, Mr. Todd Chambers, who's BGE's project manager for this project, and Mr. Robert May, BGE's principal engineer on this project.
Thank you. PPRP?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sandra Simpson-McLemore on behalf of the Power Plant Research Program. Also with me today, in case there are questions, are Connie Faustini, a consultant to PPRP. I'd also like to enter the appearance of Steve Towson with my office.
Okay. OPC?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Patrick O'Laughlin, Maryland OPC.
And staff?
Good morning, Your Honor. Kenneth Albert on behalf of staff.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone. BGE, any preliminary matters?
Yes, Your Honor, a few. First of all, on February 19th, 2021, BGE filed a certificate of compliance indicating that pursuant to Your Honor's notice of pre-hearing conference that was dated January 26th, 2021, BGE arranged for notice of today's hearing to be published in the Baltimore Sun on multiple occasions in advance of this hearing and on BGE's website and social media platforms. Additionally, the compliance filing indicated that pursuant to Maryland Public Utilities Articles, Section 7207, C1, Romanets 4 and 5, that BGE provided notice of its CPCN application in this matter to the requisite members of the Maryland General Assembly and interested parties through a series of emails sent on January 15th, 2021. And finally, the certificate of compliance indicated that pursuant to Public Utilities Articles, Section 7207 C1 Romanet 6, notice of the CPCN application was sent to each owner of land and each owner of adjacent land to the proposed project. Copies of all these notices were attached to the certificate of compliance. BGE would respectfully request that the filed certificate of compliance be marked for identification as BGE Exhibit 1 and entered into the evidentiary record in this proceeding. Thank you.
Okay, it'll be marked as Exhibit 1. Does anyone have any objection to Exhibit 1 coming into evidence? Seeing no objection, Exhibit 1 will be entered into the record. Mr. Herson, did you receive any petitions to intervene? I have not.
We did not receive any petitions to intervene, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your
You said
Honor,
there
also,
were.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You said there were a few preliminary matters.
Yes, I had a couple more. Second was a proposed procedural schedule. Last Friday, PPRP and BGE were able to agree on a proposed procedural schedule for this matter. I transmitted the proposal to staff and Office of People's Counsel late last Friday. Both of those parties agreed to it earlier today, and earlier today, the proposed procedural schedule was transmitted to Your Honor via email. At this point, my understanding is that all parties are still in agreement with this proposed schedule, subject, of course, to Your Honor's review and adjustment as necessary. I can read the proposed schedule into the record if necessary.
I don't think that's necessary. I did receive it. I don't have a problem with it, but I wondered what your proposal is for the first public comment hearing on May 20th. Did you intend for that to be virtual?
I think at this point, absent further developments in the pandemic situation, that yes, we would plan on having that virtual. If something changed and we thought that circumstances allowed us to switch that to physical, I think we could probably make arrangements in pretty quick order. But at least for that first hearing for May, I think we're still planning on virtual at this point.
Okay. I think that makes sense, not only due to the pandemic, but that first hearing is more of an informational hearing, and where I would expect BGE to give a presentation. And if that's recorded and then available on YouTube, people can see it not only live, but then at a later time. The second, what you have listed as a second public comment hearing on September 28 is what I consider to be the public comment hearing that is required under the statute after PPRP and others will have submitted proposed licensing conditions, which at that point can be made available to the public. One would hope that by September 28, 2021, we could conduct that public hearing in person. Wouldn't it need to be in 2 locations at that point?
Yes, this project does go through 2 jurisdictions, Harford County and Baltimore County, so we would have to make arrangements for 2 hearings. In light of that, it might need to be on a different evening, or I don't know if we could do both on the same evening. Perhaps we could. We're certainly flexible in that regard. We'll do whatever the parties in Your Honor think is prudent to do.
Well, given the unknown, what I have drafted at this moment is that the evening public comment hearing will be held the week of September 27, 2021, with the date, time, and location to be determined. I think that probably covers whether it would somehow need to still be virtual or if it can be in person and would therefore be 2, and the specific dates could be set at a later date closer to that time. Does that work?
That does work. Thank you.
Okay. Other than that, I didn't have any questions. I did notice that you have a proposed order target date. That won't be in the proposed scheduling order, but I will keep it in mind.
Understand, Your Honor. That's obviously up to Your Honor, and we just put that in there to
Doesn't hurt to try.
A rough estimate, but that's obviously up to your discretion entirely.
Okay. All right. I don't see any other issues. Does any party have anything they want to have brought to my attention at this time?
Your Honor.
I had one more thing I wanted to have covered.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
On January 19th, 2021, in the notice where delegated this matter to the Public Utility Law Judge Division, the Commission granted BGE, Your Honor, a waiver of COMAR 2079-02E, and that's the provision in COMAR that requires the placement of a copy of the application at a public library or other public facility located in close proximity to the project site. We asked for that waiver from the Commission, given that libraries and other public buildings are either currently closed or have very limited access due to the COVID-19 pandemic. They did, however, in granting the waiver, request that BGE determine whether the application could be made available for public inspection at a BGE facility located in close proximity to the project site in a safe manner. And they asked us to report back to the Public Utility Law Judge Division I am pleased to report that we're able to make a copy of the application materials available for public inspection at our White Marsh Training Facility, which is located at 11350 Pulaski Highway in White Marsh. This facility is located in relative proximity to the project site. Although the public is not able to enter the building, they are able to enter the parking lot, and we're proposing to set up a mailbox, drop box kind of setup where the application materials would be placed inside the mailbox, available for members of the public to access and review, and then return to the mailbox. So if anybody else comes along, they can review it as well. And then when the situation warrants, we would move the materials back to the public library or facility located nearby. So hopefully that arrangement is sufficient until public facilities fully reopen. But I wanted to make Your Honor and the parties aware of that situation.
Just to clarify, you're proposing that a copy be able to be taken from the site and then returned?
I think the idea, hopefully, if people honor it, would be that they could review the materials on site, perhaps in their car, or if the weather permits, near the site, near the mailbox, and then they would return materials to the box in case anybody else wanted to see it. And of course, as we indicated in the application, if a member of the public wanted to have a copy for themselves, they can contact either Ms. Raba or myself. We'll make arrangements to send them a copy. But in terms of making a copy physically available for somebody to inspect at a location close to the project site, this was the solution that we came up with.
At the risk of asking a question that neither of us can answer, is there any sort of public health issue with having something put back by one person and then perhaps touched by the next person?
Well, we would hope that people are exercising all recommended CDC guidelines when accessing this. I suppose we could put hand sanitizer or something with materials.
Kind of on top of it to weigh it down, maybe.
Yeah, inside the box. I mean, the alternative, if we were able to allow people to enter a physical location, they would still be accessing materials that other members of the public would have been able to review and possibly handle. So I think really the only difference here is it's outside the building rather than inside the building.
Right, and then the difference of COVID in general. Do you know if at this facility, I know you said people can't enter it, but is there a sign with the standard kind of COVID precautions that you could also put on this mailbox, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. We could do that. This facility has a parking lot where somebody can enter off Pulaski Highway, park right in front of the building. The mailbox would be erected right next to the front door, so they would not have to travel far to get to it. They just park their car right in front of the box. They could review the materials, and like I said, hopefully put them back in the box and so that somebody else could review them.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that BGE will have someone monitoring the box and will notice if it's gone.
We do. Right? We do. We actually have security personnel in an office nearby, so they would be able to check to make sure the materials are still there. They would be able to make sure that if anybody showed up during working hours, that they're following protocols, that sort of thing.
Okay. I think with that and maybe if, like I said, some sort of one-page notice could be put either on top of the application or on the box, somehow that people can see it to remind them of the COVID guidelines, then that probably is an acceptable solution until, as you said, it can get back to, until public library is open.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. We realize the situation is not ideal, but we wanted to try to facilitate the commission's request as best as we could. So that's what we were able to come up with.
Thank you.
Those are all the preliminary matters I had. Thank you.
Ms. McLemore?
Yes, Your Honor. I was just going to mention that we have completed the completeness review and we should have something to you by the end of the week. We don't see any significant discrepancies. We will note a couple of things that we will be asking DRs on, but I just wanted you to be aware that we would get that to you by the end of the week.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else have anything? Okay. Seeing nothing. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your cooperation in coming up with a procedural schedule. Take care and hope to see everyone soon.
Thank you.